Engine boost activated.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Legends Mobile. In the Japanese destroyer tree, which is one of the trees that I'm exploring currently, I'm looking at the torpedo boat line, so everything going up to the Yugumo. And it's quite interesting. So at tier 3 you get the Isukaze, which kind of works okay. She's got a surface detection of 5.2 kilometers and a torpedo range of 7.5 kilometers. So that's decently workable. Then at tier 4 you upgrade to the Mutsuki, and things get a little different here. Now you do have a 5.4 kilometer surface detection, which is slightly worse, but in return you get an 8.7 kilometer torpedo range with 2 triple launchers of very hard-hitting 610mm torpedoes. One of the major differences, however, is that you only get 2 gun turrets. Yes, one in front and one in the rear. This is actually a pure torpedo boat, which means she is relatively helpless against other destroyers. So if you're faced with basically any other destroyer in the game that isn't a Mutsuki, you are going to be in big trouble if you get yourself detected. So the style here on this ship is relatively different. And then at tier 5, which I haven't unlocked yet, we are encountering the Fubuki, which brings back the guns with 3 twin 127mm guns as expected, but has an obscurely short torpedo range of only 6 kilometers with a 6.2 kilometer sea detection range. This is a very strange oddball. But then at tier 6 we get the Akatsuki, and things go sort of back to normal, where we still have the guns, but we're getting a 10 kilometer torpedo range, which is much more in line with this thing. And still a 6.7 kilometer surface detection isn't great, so there's definitely work to be done with these ships in terms of staying undetected. But today we are looking at the Mutsuki, the tier 4 destroyer. I am sailing Tanaka as a commander. And I've tried a couple of things. Haven't upgraded him too far just yet, but he's got a couple skills. He brings his base trait gives you additional torpedo damage, but more importantly, we have torpedo speed, torpedo reload, quite significantly 6% down, and sea detection range down. Plus an 8% boost to torpedo range. And obviously a smokescreen boost. I'm using the Pan-Asian Commander, which gives me an additional almost 1% surface detection reduction. So the effective values on the ship after the commander has been assigned are looking like I showed you earlier, quite good, with 5.4 surface detection and an 8.7 kilometer torpedo range. The base range is a bit shorter, I think, so if we were to take the commander out, we'd see that. But this is a pure torpedo boat. You see the guns there. There's one in front, and there's one in the rear, and that's it. And then you have your 2 torpedo launchers, and that's all the ship gets. So the name of the game is not to get spotted. In terms of loadout, it's not an awful lot of choice for module. You have one module slot, and I'm using the aiming system because it gives me a bit of torpedo launcher traverse speed, which is really the only thing that makes a difference in the ship. And while I was playing, or the game that you're about to see, I only had the hull B upgrade. But I can still now actually get main battery firing range, which for this ship isn't great, and get an upgrade to a better gun, which also doesn't help particularly, given that you only have 2 guns. But it's better than it significantly reduces the reload time. So You might be able to do a bit more with it, but still, if you're getting yourselves into combat with enemy destroyers, you're not going to do particularly well. Anyway, the game you're about to see is without that, so without further ado, let's get into it. We are playing on a map called Hotspot, and I am very much not familiar with these maps, but we're top tier, and there are only 2 enemy destroyers out there, 3 battleships and 3 cruisers, unfortunately an aircraft carrier. So I definitely have to keep a bit of an eye. Now, I am not going to go into B-Cup, because B-Cup has many islands in the middle, not many exits or entry points, and against cruisers or destroyers, once I'm spotted, I'm going to have a really hard time getting out of it again. So I'll leave that to the rest of my team on the eastern flank, and in turn I'm going to head towards A-Cup, because there's a lot of open water where I can make use of my torpedo range and stay unspotted. The Mutsuki is not a ship in which you necessarily want to go and contest capture circles, because against enemy destroyers, you're going to have a really hard time with the 2 gun turrets. And the gun angles aren't the greatest either. Plus, my build is a complete torpedo build. I'm not rushing with the engine boost directly into A-Cup, especially that there is a carrier out there, and I want to see where the carrier bombers are going first. But it looks like he is scouting around the center line, and we do have an enemy battleship spotted, who is still out of torpedo range, but. And there's another one. There's a good chance that at least one of the enemy destroyers is hanging around on this side. So I do have to be somewhat careful, and I'm going to head behind that island over there, which gives me some visual cover, while trying to get into a position to launch some long-range torpedoes and manage my spotting range. Now that battleship there is sailing straight towards me. So if he is going to maintain a course and his current speed in that Wyoming, then given that he's potentially not under fire, then he might run into the torpedoes. I'm slowing down a little bit just to peek around to see if there are enemy destroyers out there, and there is a cruiser, so if I was gonna get spotted here, I would be in a lot of trouble. But I'm just stalking these guys. I'm just scouting, because the friendly carrier is more busy in the center, and giving my team something to shoot at. Now, I don't know if these torpedoes are going to land on the Wyoming, because it looks like he has... it looked like he might have been slowing down. So I'm not sure if we're going to get any torpedo hits, but these torpedoes hit really, really hard. So, just avoided them, dang it. That would have been a really juicy hit if I had managed to land it. Unfortunately, the Wyoming has managed to evade my torpedoes, so I'm just observing him and his behavior. He seems to be sailing in a straight line. Maybe he didn't even notice the torpedoes were there. So just waiting for the torpedoes to reload, and then I'll have another go. But it looks like the Wyoming is turning out. That said, I don't really have a better target right now. So if he keeps turning out, well, he should turn in, because he's giving broadside to all my battleships there. If he keeps turning out, then he will evade these torpedoes. Regardless, it looks like that both enemy destroyers are in B-Cup and have in fact secured B-Cup. So I'm going to take A of the enemy team, because they're currently having 2 capture circles. They already have a kill, and they are leading in points obviously now. So I'm going to start taking A-Cup. Now the problem is that cruise over there. That's a Karlsruhe. And now that I've announced my presence here to the world, because, you know, A-Cup is being taken, and the... I have managed to catch the Wyoming. Nice. And that was a single torpedo hit, by the way. Just mentioning that, 11,000 points of damage. But now that I've announced my presence here to the world, and that Karlsruhe is, fully aware now that there's a destroyer in A-Cup, so he could come down and chase me. That is not as suicidal as it looks, because I do have 2 battleships behind me who should be able to do something about the Karlsruhe. And I'm relatively sneaky, and I think I'm faster than the Karlsruhe, so I'm just monitoring him again right now, seeing where he's going, because he doesn't know exactly where I am. He just knows that I'm inside the capture circle. Once I've taken the capture circle, then so let's drop some torpedoes in his general direction. And even if that just keeps him away, then that's enough of a success for me already. because I really don't want to be chased down by this thing, and if that forces him to turn to port, then he's giving broadside to the battleship that is pushing up from the south here, which would be a good position for my team to do something about it. Anyway, we have secured A Cup, and we are starting now, we're even on points, and we're starting now to pull some points back from the double cup income. So my job here around this capture circle is done. As expected, the Karlsruhe is turning out, giving flat broadside to the battleship. Not sure if it can capitalize on it, but if I'm lucky I might get a torpedo hit in there. He is trying to dodge, but I think he's overturning, and that torpedo, got a torpedo hit in the stern, and that almost sunk him. But I can just keep shadowing the Karlsruhe, and hopefully the battleship can finish him off while I'm making my way towards the east, where my team's right flank hasn't done too well, but I think this side here is done for. I'm looking for the "please focus your fire on this ship" button. I couldn't quite find it. Regardless, someone is shooting at it, so that's going to be all right. And I can keep pushing east. And now we have the enemy team sort of in a crossfire, because I'm making my way, once that Karlsruhe is out of the way, I'm making my way towards the carrier battleship line back there. The Langley has taken out our V-170, so that destroyer is done for. And the battleships still haven't managed to kill the car. There we go. Nicely done, Wyoming. And there's the enemy carrier. Now, the carrier doesn't necessarily know that I'm here. I mean, he should know, because A has been taken. The problem is that the closest ship to the carrier is the battleship behind me. So the carrier is going to send planes across me, which means that I'll be visible to, I don't know where the other two cruisers are, but I'm going to drop the Langley, and then I'm going to have to smoke up, because he is most likely going to send plane. Yeah, there come the torpedo bombers heading towards the battleship there, and I do not want to. This is not the most maneuverable of destroyers. I do not want to get spotted by his torpedo bombers, so I am smoking up, which of course telegraphs my presence here, because while I'm not going to be air spotted, we're losing sight of the carrier. And if I had managed to avoid smoking up, I would have been able to probably take down the carrier, because he wouldn't have known that he needs to dodge these torpedoes that are incoming. And I'm actually, he's still going for me. So his dive bombers have still managed to shoot my engine off. I landed a single torpedo hit on the carrier, which is not enough to sink him. But there is a Wyoming out there, and while I'm in the smoke screen, I may as well use my guns. At this point, we're 2 kills ahead, and we're holding 2 of the capture circles. Plus, we're taking B cups. So I think this is pretty much a done deal here. But Wyoming is he slowing down? And there's still the carrier out there somewhere, but he's probably run away at this point. And I think Wyoming is sailing in a straight course. Carrier is still overflying, so I'm still sitting in my smoke screen. It's worth Wyoming's slowing down. It's worth observing your targets, and it's worth not staying in your smoke screen if it's about to expire, because now I'm air spotted, and that carrier is going to be out for blood. So I'm going to drop the torpedoes on the Wyoming, and then I'm going to focus on those torpedo bombers. I'm going to get the island between myself and the torpedo bombers, which means he has to fly over and come from the other side, which gives me some time to dodge and maybe get around the island if he's dropping me from the left. And where is he going to come from? Where are your torpedo planes? And they are coming. No, he's not doing the full fly around. Yep, there he comes. Okay, he drops here. So fake turning left, hard right. There comes the torpedo drop, and I can thread the needle between these two without too much trouble while sinking the Wyoming with torpedoes. And if he had dropped me from the side, this would have been significantly harder. But it does pay to make it not easy for the carrier to actually hit you. And I don't think I shot the plane down. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to catch the carrier with my guns here. I think the Ishizuchi took him out already. That just leaves one cruiser at the end, and I think I've done my job here for the team. I've taken a solo cup on A, taken down the I think 2 Wyomings, and landed a torpedo on the carrier, plus distracted him quite a bit, so he hasn't actually been combat effective against our battleships, and worked out well. So this is sort of the thing that I'm really enjoying with the Japanese destroyers. It's the pure stealth gameplay, but it has its limitations, because if nobody else goes for the capture circles, or if enemy destroyers are actually defending the capture circles, you really don't stand a chance against enemy destroyers in the ship, because the guns are just not very powerful. Still, I'm very curious to see what the Fubuki is going to be like. And let's see where we came in the team. 56,000 points of damage, and we came second in the team, so I think that worked out pretty well. And that's all I have for today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.